Hey guys, and welcome back. Today we're actually going to be doing something a little bit more different. Today will actually be more based on a face chart. So the one thing that we're going to do today is I'm actually going to take you through a little tutorial on how to create a face chart and what makeup artists actually do when creating their face charts. So because of like how kind of artsy I've seen a lot of them on Instagram, we're going to go a little bit on that route today. Although in a real makeup artist face chart, it would not look the same as it would as you see on Instagram. Often those makeup artists are not sometimes even considered makeup artists. They're called face chart artists or something of that variation. So today I just wanted to share with you, it's very common that makeup artists will get something a bit similar to this. This is my face charts that I get when I was in school. So as you see here, you've got your face, you've got a bunch of description notes here. You have your name up here, you have your client's name, and you also have the date. The one thing that makeup artists don't know often, if they are not in bridal business, is not to give your face charts out to your client unless it's the day of. Once it's the day of, you're actually able to give it to a client, because if you do and they end up not taking you as their makeup artists, they may take this face chart to another artist. So for further ado, the one thing that we're just gonna start with is we're just gonna start with the eyes right away. So we're just gonna do something kind of Instagram-y, but a little bit more subdued. I'm just going to take, I think that I'm gonna go with a really light color first. So you can use your own brushes for this. You can use kind of any brush that you want for this. It's just based on what you like for your brushes. So I think the first color that we're going to go into is actually from my Makeup Forever palette. It's a little bit dusty, as you see, but I think that we're just going to go into this. It's actually a bit of like a reddish brown, this color. So we're going to dip right into this reddish brown first. Make sure to tap off the excess, and we're just going to put this all over the lid. And I think I'm going to kind of wing it out a bit. So not all makeup artists are very good at face charts, and that's perfectly fine because it's a lot different putting it on an actual face. And the more that you put on one place, so as soon as you put your color on your brush, the one place that you tap first is where the darkest it's going to be. So it's a lot different on this than it is on a person. So you need to be very mindful of that. So I think I really like this kind of winged shape that I have. The best thing about this is that you can also blow on it, as you would not do on a client. So I'm really liking this here. I think now we're just going to go and do it with the next eye. And this is also a really good thing for makeup artists to use when they're practicing their symmetry. Of course, everybody needs to practice their symmetry. Another great tool that we all have, no matter what, while doing this, is we also have just a simple eraser. So you can use this eraser if you do make a mistake, if it's eyeshadow. Anything else will not erase, you know, whatever you put on here. But it's really good to use an eraser if you'd like to clean up lines, and if this is kind of something that, you know, you'd like to kind of neaten it a little. So I think that I'm pretty happy about how this turned out. The second color that we're going to go into, so this will be our transition color. We're just going to take a little bit of red from the Makeup Forever palette. So the red right here, it's a little bit hard to tell, but the red right here we're going to use. And the one thing about using face charts is that it's a lot easier to use nice like fan kind of brushes, ones that aren't as stiff. Because when they're stiff, it can easily move the color around. So I'm going to just take another small brush, but as you see, it's not that stiff. So I already felt that there was some product in it, so I'm just going to be sure that's not going to be, oh dear. So these brushes are mainly just for my face charts, therefore they're not really taken care of as much, which is good as long as you have very cheap brushes for this type of activity. If it's for yourself, you can use your own brushes, but because this is simply for face charts, they're not really taken care of because they're cheap. So I'm just going to take some of my Cinema Secrets from my makeup brush cleanser. I'm just going to clean out any of that color I had in that brush. Didn't seem like a lot, which is good. That's awesome. So we're just gonna move this around a little. And we're just going to go straight into our red. So we're gonna take our red and we're going to use it as our transition. And we're actually going to take our other brush just to smooth it out. Perfect. We're going to do the same with this eye. Just be very gentle when you place your colors. Very, very gentle. You can always go back in with more color. So I think that we're really good for this color. The next one that we're going to be doing is our crease color. So I'm actually going to keep this red on because it's really going to go well with this palette here that I have. This is one of my MAC palettes. We're actually going to go into this color right here. This color is called, this one is Dark Brew. So we're going to go into this one. It's a really nice warm tone palette, as you see. And this is one of the darker ones before the Dance in the Dark. So we're just going to go right into that one. And we're just going to create a little bit of depth. Just for a nice crease. Wonderful. So as you see, I have, looks quite symmetrical. I think I will go back just a little bit, just on the top color here. But as you see, it looks pretty nice. I really like the colors, a very warm tone. So that's what I really like about this. So we're just going to go back in with our one color from Makeup Forever and just to lighten a little bit. Make this color a little bit more prominent. Wonderful. So now that I've gotten kind of my ideal shape and color, we're just going to go straight into the under eye area. So for this, I'm actually going to be taking my same small brush here, and I'm going to dip right back into my red that I had done from Makeup Forever, and just very lightly go underneath. Next eye. And I think that's all that we're going to be doing for the color underneath the eye. The next thing that we're just going to be doing is the lid. So the lid, if you're looking for a really bold color on a face chart, it's a little bit hard to put on. So the one thing you do is, first of all, don't stress about it. It's just very hard to really get a good pigment out of it. If it sparkles or things like that, it doesn't really work too well with a face chart. But we're just going to dip in nonetheless. And I think that I'm going to go in with a yellow and a gold. So the yellow and the gold on my MAC palette is Divine Decadence and Unwind. So these are these two colors right here. We're going to go straight into those colors. First, we'll go in with the lightest one here. And just make sure that you tap it off. And unfortunately, it doesn't really hold that color, if you can see. We're going to try our very best to get it on there, but it's very, very difficult. If anything, just pat it. And I'm sure you will get something out of it. And then I'm going to go in with my more gold color and just dot it on as well. So, I believe that I've gotten the color that I would like. Unfortunately, it's quite hard to really dot that color in. Oh, there we go. Wonderful. Give it a little smudge. And then I'm just going to go back and just lightly darken the sides with our dark kind of reddish brown color that we used in the crease. Wonderful. So now that we've kind of gotten that color out of the way, we're just going to start on our eyeliner. So the one thing is, lots of makeup artists cheat in this way, and this is okay to cheat because it's good to not waste a lot of your eyeliner products. Lots of them will actually use just simple pen. And more often than not, pen is used when making face charts, especially on Instagram. So I'm just going to show this to you so you kind of get the idea of what the eyeshadow now looks like. Really beautiful colors, really warm tone, kind of red, auburn colors. And now we're just going to go and put a black liner on. So I'm actually going to be taking one of my pens to do this. I'm just going to take one of my art ones, not anything fancy, but I'm just going to search for a good one. So I'm actually just going to be taking my Micron Pigma pen, and I'm just going to sketch out my wing. So my wing's probably gonna go about this long. Nothing too fancy, but of course we want this to be visible. So it's gonna be about this long. We're simply just going to sketch out the wing just like that. Very, very simple. So we'll do the same thing with the other side. Color the wing. Wonderful. So very simple. I'm actually just gonna lengthen this little guy here. Perfect. So as you see, piece of cake, super easy to do. Those are our wings. And now we're actually going to start with the eyebrows. So for the eyebrows, we'll be just taking a, just going to move this out of my way. We're just going to be taking a usual eyebrow brush. So this is my MAC 206, I believe. This is just my little eyebrow brush. I'm just going to clean off the excess of it first before applying. And I'm just going to, here they are. So for the eyebrows, I'm just going to take my usual brush here, just my little angled brush, and I'm just going to dip into my Makeup Forever Professional Paris. This is my brow palette. This is Brow Palette #2, so it's a little bit darker, and I'm actually going to go in with the darkest color. And we're just going to sketch out the eyebrows first. Often some makeup artists will actually create their template, they'll sketch out the brows and everything beforehand, but I like to do it all right away. So we're just going to sketch out the brow. So I think that's a pretty good brow here. We're just going to sketch out the next one. There we go. And that one's a little bit on an angle, so we'll fix that. The best thing about this is when you need your eraser, just to kind of make this more soft. So now that I've sketched out my brows, we're just gonna go in with some color. So I'm just going to take the same color, the darkest color in my palette here, and I'm just going to give it a really nice ombre effect. Not gonna put any hairs in it, just gonna give it an ombre effect. Perfect. Now I'm just going to go in with my pencil and just touch up everything around it. Perfect. So as you see, I went in, just did a little ombre effect, and then used my eraser just to erase around the edges. And look at that, beautiful. So we're gonna do the same with this side. Gonna take our dark brown again and just go in and give it that ombre effect. And then darken the end here. Beautiful. And this one seems like it's pretty good. I don't think I really need to touch it or anything. Just maybe over here. There we go. So as you see, I've created my eyebrows now. They look pretty good, pretty symmetrical. And now the one thing that we're just going to go into is just our contour. So for this, I'm actually going to be taking a smaller brush for this. I'm going to take a bit of a bigger angled brush, but it needs to be very puffy. So we're going to take our puffy angled brush, and I'm going to be using my Kat Von D Shade and Light contour palette, and we're just going to create a little bit of shadow. So this is actually the point where the Instagram makeup artist idea in this type of work. So in terms of face charts, this is where this all comes to play. So when Instagram makeup artists do their face charts in this way, it's to actually create this shadow. And this is exactly what I'll be doing today. I won't be doing a real face chart. So for this, I'm actually going to be doing my usual contour, and I'm actually shaping it as I would with a sketch. We're literally sketching in her cheekbones. And there. Really sketched on cheekbone. So we'll be doing the same thing with the other side. And here's my second sketched on cheekbone. So as you see, now I have my cheekbones on. Looks pretty good. I think I'm just gonna go in again and just actually blend it a little more. And then I'm actually going to be starting to shade the features. So we won't actually be doing usual contour, we'll be actually shading the features. So I'm going to go just around here, kind of by the nose area. And we're actually just going to be going up here. We're going to actually create the nose shadow. And then I like to kind of go up with it. Oh, I guess something came off on the brush. So now I have a little bit of a dot here. That's very unfortunate, but we'll keep going. So now I'm just going to shade underneath, just where the chin is. And yeah, I might do a little bit underneath the eye. And just maybe around here. So as you see, I have done the contour all around. Unfortunately, something happened around here. I guess I had something on my brush I didn't know about. So that's very unfortunate, but it's okay. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like something I can use my beautiful eraser on, but nonetheless, it's all good. We're actually just going to go right into blush. I'm actually just gonna try this out. Oh. And we have saved the nose. We saved it. Wonderful. So, now that I've saved the nose, we'll just go straight on to our blush. So, for blush, I'm actually going to be using another small brush. And this small brush is actually going to be a blush brush. This is going to be my blush brush, the usual type of brush, of course, a little bit angled. And I'm going to be taking my MAC palette blush. So this is my little blush palette. And we're just going to go straight into, I think we're going to go in a mix of this really light pink here and a little bit of this cooler pink. So we're going to mix those two together. And you know what? Let's just put a little bit of orange in that too. And I'm just going to move this. We're just going to apply it. Perfect. So I've thrown the blush on, looks pretty good. Not as noticeable, which is fine. It doesn't need to be so noticeable, but as long as you know that it's there. So now that I've gotten kind of the blush part down, we're just gonna go straight into lips. So for this, you're actually going to be using real lipstick, unless you don't want to, but I like to use real lipstick for this. So I'm actually going to go right into my palette that I've created myself from just other lipsticks. We're not going to be using a lip liner, although you could. And we're just going to use a lipstick brush. So for this, I think I'm going to dip into this really dark red here. And we're going to mix that in with our red. So first thing we're gonna do is we're just going to take them both out of the palette, just onto the back of your hand, and just perfect. And now we're going to put the red around the lips, and be very, very careful because this is the one you cannot wipe off. So be very, very, very careful when doing your lips. Really, really, really careful. Looks pretty good. Just gonna go down. So now that we've kind of gotten that part done for the lips, we're just going to go right in with our dark color. Just kind of, we're not really going to give it an ombre effect. But we kind of are. Wonderful. So I think that we've really gotten the lip. I think we're just going to just darken, actually quite a bit more. I think I like the darker lip. Beautiful. Perfect. So we've gotten our dark lip finished, and I'm just going to wipe this off of my hand. Just going to take this. Oh boy. This one. And the last thing that we're going to be doing today is we'll be doing the lashes. Now, not every makeup artist actually does the lashes. Sometimes I will, sometimes I won't, just depending on how I feel. For lashes as well, you do use a pencil or a marker or whatever you want, but it's very, very common for makeup artists to just use a simple pen or marker. So I'm just going to be taking my Pigma brush and just kind of slightly drawing on a few lashes. So when doing your lashes, you're just going to kind of start from the bottom and pull upwards like this and lessen your grip as you do it. And I'm just going to darken kind of the eye, just like that. So as you see, I have finished the lashes. Looks semi-symmetrical. I'm not too good with lashes, unfortunately, but altogether, I think that this face chart turned out beautifully. As for the rest of a face chart, I just wanted to show you very quickly how to create your description box. So your description box is usually on the right-hand side of your model face. And often, well, this is what I have been taught, and not a lot of makeup artists do this. Some do, some don't. But we use two colors. Doesn't matter what two colors. So we use our two colors, and the first thing that we're going to write is the name of the product that you've used. So, for example, I'm going to be putting for the eyebrows, so you write brows. And then you put, well, mine was the Makeup Forever palette. Brow palette. And it was my number 2 palette. So this was the, it looks a little bit like a formula, but this is what the palette was. Now, not a lot of makeup artists actually write the second part, but it is sometimes good to write the second part. The second part that you're actually going to be writing is your brush number. So your brush number is often on the brush. So for my brush, this was my MAC brush, and on this it says, I believe it says maybe it says 265. Fortunately, it's very old. But I'm going to write MAC, and then you're going to write your brush number. So I'm just going to make this out. I think it says 265. So I'm going to write 265, and that's my brush's number. And that goes for every single thing on here. You don't need to do it. A lot of makeup artists don't actually do it because they use different brushes each time, but this is mainly how you would create a face chart. So this is the finished look. Looks pretty great. I really like these colors, actually. I think they really turned out nice, especially the red lip. I really like that. And everything else just looks according to plan. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. I hope that it was beneficial to you, or you just had an interest in knowing about how to do a face chart. And I thank you for watching this video. If you click on this side, you'll be able to see all of my newest videos on this side. And then also I have my description as well as my prescription to subscribe to my channel. Subscription to subscribe to my channel. So thank you so much, and I hope that you guys have a nice day.